Be good boy? Good boy. Okay, let's say hello to the camera. Hi everyone, thank you very much for coming back to my studio. Hi everyone, thank you very much for coming back to my studio. In this video, part 3, I'm sure by this time you should be able to create your own drawing, your own version, the way I started from part 1, part 2, part 3. But if you don't, that means you're being impatient. Bearing in mind, to be able to draw is nothing to do with you can draw, you can't draw. It's all got to do with being patient. You have to have this kind of obsessive compulsory disorder that you're obsessed with drawing. In this final part 3, this is going to be really more into detail, more into attention into detail, into something you could say being pedantic. The idea of these exercises, like you see from the part 1, if you haven't seen the part 1, part 2, please do, so you understand the context of this final part. The idea is the first is how to set up your drawing, to set it up. The second is to adjust any mistake with the line drawing, and the final part is to be able to finish it. The final touch is going to be a lot of repetition lines to make it make more sense in terms of depth, expose, enclose, dark, light, adding more detail, small detail that matters. I could make it fast forward, but the idea is that so you would understand the process of drawing, how it started from the beginning, the middle, to the end. It's all about time consuming and being patient. That's the point of this exercise. It's about how to do it. So I like to share with you the process, how to achieve what it is at the end, so that you understand it's not difficult, it's not easy either, but it's all about being patient and being the willingness to carry on, repeat the same thing over and over to create almost not perfect, but almost to that as you wish to achieve it. So anyway, and before we go further, please click the subscribe button and like, and thank you very much for watching, and I hope you watch it again. Thank you. Yes, good boy. Are you my good boy? Look, what is that? Look, come here. Look. Look. I'll give you one. Look, good boy. Good boy. Look. Welcome back, everyone. I'm now continuing with the adding thicker lines to differentiate between the enclose and expose. Basically, starting with a darker line to accentuate the setback, this threshold, the door. Adding more line on this to indicate the details of this wooden door frames. So starting with the fine line first, vertical and horizontal line, and find the middle, and also the state. But this is at this stage more of a adjusting and adding a bit more detail, adjusting at the same time the line to show what is overhang, what is exposed, what is some of this stone would be hidden, or assuming, which I assume the light is coming from the left. So where is the shade behind this column against this rusticated stonework? And at the same time, and using the simple vertical line to add a bit of a texture on this rusticated stonework, so it's not just white blank, which directly will hide away all of the multi-layers, multi-lines which I started as a to set up this drawing at the beginning. So this line will be eventually hidden away as they are no longer needed, and to bring more of the details of this facade of this classical architecture with indication of the profile of this column detail, the footing, the pedestal, and of course in this more of in small details in join. There's a lot of detail line between each one of them. Because the line is so small, at this stage it is important to be very careful. So small mistake could distort the profile of these features. Again, this horizontal line to indicate the shade of the overhang of this above the architrave above this pedestal before it connected to the base of this column above it. So this is the capital. What I'm going to do is try to show the circumference, the round shape of this column by adding one vertical line to the edge. That should give the sense of a round shape, the curved shape of this column to the eyes, basically. As I said from the beginning, the idea of this drawing exercise is to share how long it takes, the process of making even a small tiny little drawing as this one. It is time consuming and requires a lot of patience and a lot of repetitions without rushing it. It's better to have with a lot of fine lines, clean line. And if it's not enough, the way I do my drawing, if not enough, I always add more, overlapping the line as I'm doing right now. Repeat it over and over rather than just one thicker line. To do that, I need to make sure that I press my pen very gently by holding it right almost the end of this, the top of my pen, so it is soft pressure on my white paper, like this. Again, as assuming the light is coming from the left, so the shadow is on the right, so I'm making it much darker line on the right side of this column by drawing the vertical line from the center of this column and to the right ones, from the left to the center, right to the left. And of course a bit more vertical line also on this, the base, the pedestal, where the base of this column rested, where all the weight from above transmit on this, the foundation of these columns connected to the ground. because it is a symmetrical facade, most as most of the classical buildings are symmetrical. The same process is repeat as drawing as well. We repeat it as it is. On this side of the columns, the same way as I did on the left side of the columns, with the same process. It is a hatching process to add the darkness, much thicker line, to accentuate the enclosed part and to bring forward the exposed part of this facade, which that what this rustication is about. But this rustication is all about the texture of the building facade, with differentiate between the hidden, the setback, the joint, and the forward of the stones. The same with also the column together with the rusticated stonework. That what makes this classical architecture look rather beautiful and has strong character. It has this sort of the ornamental features, as opposed to the modern architecture, which is so much of just plain facade, minimalist. So now I'm going to add the detail above this the architrave, which is this connection to call it the cornice, basically. But I'm not going to draw the cornice above this blank wall, above the architrave. I'm going to just add a bit more detail on that, which is simply putting the vertical lines how it is above the architrave. So the next part is now I'm going to move into the detail of the doors. Finding the center part of these double swing doors, wooden door, trying to imitate as close as possible to the actual wooden door at the actual building. Again, bearing in mind, this drawing is not about trying to be exact as it is on site, because I don't incline to draw on site where some artists would do. They could draw identical to the building as they were sitting on site, and to me, to understand building, I would rather understand it thoroughly through geometry drawings rather than simply drawing, copying what is there. But I would rather observe and absorb the geometry and the pattern, the proportion of the building through drawing, with the understanding by putting them on a piece of paper. They give me the great understanding, more into depth, rather than just drawing it through observation, trying to be like photographic drawing. I wouldn't do that because I don't think it's necessary for me to understand the building further. By doing this exercise, I would say I could understand building more by explore the geometry of this building, and possibly I could design another building with my own version, but the method, the golden rule, golden ratio of geometry will be applied. That is the beauty of exploring building through drawing into depth, with more of understanding of the technicality, the geometry, and the proportion, and the ratio, the scales of the building, and the material and the structure, and at the same time to understand how it was built, and the purpose of the design intentioned. So now I need to add more detail of this door as well. In classical architecture, there's so much of the ornamental features at the facade, particularly the front facade. Everything is all about look at me, watch me. It's all about aesthetically appealing. It's not just about building, but more kind of artistic buildings. That's what traditional architecture is about. How to bring art and engineering together, that what create beautiful architecture. And it is profound evidence on the classical architecture. Now I'm going to do make it much darker on this wooden door. It's all drawing with memory is great as well. It's not going to be identical 100%, but the great thing about drawing using memory is I could understand more. By simply adding this repetition, as I said before, repetition, vertical line, to give this sense of texture and the depth of this material property, this wooden door. I think this is the I could do for now. I don't want to do to add too much, just a bit more detail above this threshold on the facade, right below that architrave. This is what is a traditional classical architecture about. There's nothing blank. Blank wall must be filled with ornamental features. Cannot be just blank. Just a bit finer touch on this column to make it much darker. And the shade on the other side as well. At this stage, more adjusting about adding, looking, and add more if needed, without changing anything. And of course, the base of this column, I need to make it a bit darker, so it's not just so it balances them with the other stone, rusticated stone, those wall facade. It's all about balancing them at the moment. So here we are on our final stage, and I hope that you watched the part 1, part 2, and this part 3, so you would understand the time consuming, the process it takes to draw one piece of drawing, regardless big or small. And I hope you enjoy it, and looking forward to see you at my next upcoming videos to share more about buildings and drawings. And thank you very much. Please subscribe and share. Thank you very much.